Welcome back, beautiful people. The show is still Flipside on independent television. And of course, there's one more guest that I'm yet to introduce. She joined us while we were already at it. She's someone who's a mother, a wife, and of course, she's a counselor. She goes by the name of Mrs. Abimbola Amego. Welcome to the building, ma.
Thank you for having me.
All right, how's your day been, ma?
I'm doing fine.
All right, let's get right to the business of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an interesting topic before us. And of course, it has to do with the challenges of modern day parenting. The challenges of modern day parenting. Now, when you hear the word parenting, what comes to mind? Maybe I should start with you, Shoria. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word parenting?
All right, thank you for that question. Parenting is a process of grooming a child. You know, it's a call to responsibility, and it's a very important process as far as it involves the impartation of discipline to a child. It's not only about giving birth to a child, but about passing instruction and taking good care of that child according to lay down laws and tenets as it concerns God. So it's a very, like I said, it's a very conscious act. And like I said, it's not really a function of age. It's a function of what you can deliver.
Okay.
As at when important. But today, what do we see in present day society? You know, it's the opposite. But we'll just pray that things become better as the year goes by.
Amen. We actually do hope that things get better, because when you look around you, there are so many abnormalities as far as, you know, kids and parenting, you know, are concerned. We hope that things get better, because it's a new year. We can't continue to do things the same way and expect, you know, a change. Now, Mrs. Bimbo, he defined parenting as a conscious act, a deliberate act, which means that, you know, somebody doesn't just become a parent. You have to decide to become a parent. But there are people who became parents by accident.
Yeah.
They didn't plan for it. It just happened. For some, okay, it was just a product of an affair. And then, boom, they became parents. So, do you agree with the notion that parenting is supposed to be a conscious act, or it could be, you know, an offshoot of something you didn't plan?
To me, I think parenting is a phenomenon through which a child is being gifted.
Okay.
The child is being nurtured. The child is being trained, developed to be able to fit effectively and consciously into the environment. So parenting is beyond just giving birth to a child.
Okay.
We have some training, some nurturing, some communication, some modeling that must be added to the life of that child to make the child relevant to the society. Because without that, you'll discover that the problem we are having in the society will keep on escalating, because a good parenting will give a good environment, a good society.
Okay.
So when we are talking about parenting, at times it can be by mistake. Maybe you never planned to have a child, but fortunately or unfortunately, I don't believe that a child is coming by mistake. I believe maybe God just decided to plan it that way. But in that case, you discover maybe it's by mistake or deliberately. The child is expected to be groomed, to be nurtured. If not, the child will constitute a nuisance to the society. So parenting is beyond what this generation, especially the parents, are really looking at. Some people just believe when you have your child, you buy toys, you give them games to play, then when they ask for anything, you give it to them. They believe that is parenting. No, it's more than that.
So you're saying parenting is way beyond provision?
It's beyond provision. It's beyond, it's nurturing. You nurture the child into becoming a meaningful and reliable adult. So that's what I believe is parenting.
All right, thank you so much. Now, you said that despite the fact that some children, are birthed by mistake, they are really not a product of a mistake.
No.
There's a reason for everything,
Every
right?
child, yes.
Now, Williams, in a situation where a child is born, nobody's born by mistake, okay? A child comes to this world as a result of indiscretion on the part of the parents. And then, let's say the parents are not even matured enough to, take care of the child, take responsibility for the child. Because we've seen cases where, children are born and the parents just run away. They abandon their responsibilities. It's either the father absconds or the mother, gets rid of the child. Whose responsibility is it to take up, the duty of raising that child, and taking care of that child at that point?
It's very, very...
It's a tricky question,
tricky question.
Okay.
First of all, just the way you've asked the question, the scenario, probably it happens and you're not ready or you're not man enough or you think it's not the right time. Instead of you to put the child
okay,
into a situation of like a nonchalant environment where you don't care, that I don't care attitude, it's best for you to take the child to a caregiver home, take the child to an orphanage home, so where you can get the proper parenting, instead of exposing the child to making a decision based on what they see and what they learn. And the way the society is now, the world is fast growing in technology and in all aspects. So learning now, children of these days are fast to start learning and that. So instead of you exposing the child to those undoctored and uncultured environment and attitude, take the child to where they will better take care of him or her, so that it will not become a conflict that is not of value to the society. When I mean by conflict that's not valuable to society, all these children engaging in social vices, they will now have to stress in the security apparatus of the state just to team them so that the society can be safe. You don't need to push us to that extent. Take the child to where they can get proper parenting and all that.
Okay, some persons have argued that most, what do you call them now, homes where you have children, abandoned children and all of that, are becoming overcrowded because we have an increasing case of, children that are abandoned in the streets and all of that. And then every time this happens, just like you've said, these children are taken to, these homes. What do you think can be done to lessen the burden for most of these orphanage homes or care homes? Because every time this happens, the responsibility is on, whoever it is that's in charge of these homes. And of course, that when that happens, their supplies are limited. There has to be provision. Who provides for these homes to take care of these children? Because I don't think the government is doing enough. So what do you think can be done to lessen the burden on these homes or Sharia?
Thank you for that wonderful question. I think the first thing to do for me, I think our youth are not getting the right public orientation as it involves sex.
Okay.
Yeah, many of them are involved in indiscriminate sex without them understanding the consequences, the demands of being a parent. Many of them have sex casually just to have fun. No, sex is for procreation. Sex is for raising a generation. As the Islam people will say, respect to them, to that religion. They'll tell you one soul is a generation. So I think there's not much orientation, especially in schools. These days, parents even shy away from sex education because, of course, everything has an origin. Every life that's been birthed has an origin, and that is sex. Wow. So I think parents are not doing enough to educate their children about the consequences of premarital sex. Then I think number two, the government need to understand that one of the social contracts that they have with the people is welfare. Okay. I think the government should ensure that more homes that have to do with caregiving are being established, yeah. Okay. Because at least having that, I'm not trying to, but if you still look at it, it's a pitfall because people now have this whole mindset that whenever they get pregnant, there is a, I don't want to use dumping house. Yeah. It sounds very offensive. There's a home where the children can be kept. I think government should also create institutions where these children can be harvested. Because the truth is that majority of these Gen Z generation, these Gen Z products, they don't care. That's the truth. They don't care. There is this whole I don't care attitude. Some ladies even get pregnant because they want their body to be enlarged. So they don't really mind giving birth to a child.
For such a flimsy reason.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, they start having change in morphology and all of that. So I think the government should also, apart from the fact that parents, which are the basics of civilization, should they also have their own roles. The government should also give orientation. They should go to schools and educate these students, even at tertiary level. Then they should also set up institutions that can accommodate. Because if you've been privileged to travel out, of course I haven't traveled out. So I read books and I watch documentary and all of that. I see all of these things in the first world, second world countries, where institutions have been built to harvest these children. Because whether you like it or not, these children are needed for nation building. These children are needed tomorrow. Who knows what they will become? So I think the government should also set up institutions that can adopt these children. Lastly, I think another way of reaching out to the people is through culture. Yeah, culture is a way of life. If you look at Benin, Edo State as an enclave, you notice that we are very cultural people.
Sure.
Yeah, I think our cultural institutions should also educate our youth, educate our upcomings on the dangers of having discriminated sex. Of course, bringing children that you cannot take care of. Yeah. It's really a menace in society. So all of this put together, I think is going to help us a great deal.
Right, thank you so much. Now, just in case you're just joining us, it's Flipside on independent television, and today we're taking a look at the challenges of modern-day parenting. Now, we are going to be going on another break, and when we return, the program continues. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. It's still Flipside on independent television, and we're still discussing the challenges of modern-day parenting. Now, Ms. Bimbo, we have a situation where there seems to be a decline in the use of corporal punishment. Now, let's take a look at kids generally. There seems to be this breakdown of moral values among kids of this generation, unlike before, when a lot of kids know exactly what to do. For example, you're walking along the road as a child. You don't even need anyone to tell you to greet an elder. But nowadays, you literally have to beg a child to greet an elder. What exactly do you think is responsible? Some persons have actually attributed it to the decline in the use of corporal punishment, because you have parents who tell you not to touch their children nowadays, because if you flog them or punish them, you might hurt them. Okay. What do you think?
Oh, thank you very much. I think, to me personally, why some of the parents are trying to shy away from punishing their children is that they themselves, they are not trained. In our own generation then, for you to be a child, like I come from the West, there is this belief in the West that it's not the person that gives birth to a child that is actually the parent.
Okay.
It's the entire society that is the parent to that child. So if your child should misbehave outside and you are not there, somebody else is there to help you to shaping the life of that child. But in this generation, what I discovered, especially this cultural shift, you discover that a lot of children, they are being allowed, they have this permissive way of training their children. That is, any child that wants to misbehave, you discover they allow them to do whatever they want. So that is why you discover the people that are trying to shy away from their children being punished, they never receive a good training. Because your child may pretend at home and pretend to be, okay, I'm very perfect. That's why you discover some children will, at home, they will look like a child that is morally okay. But when they get to school, wow, you will not believe.
Different ball game entirely.
Different ball game entirely. So when we are talking about a child not being punished, Bible says, train up a child and he will not depart from that training. The Bible didn't say train up adult. It's a child that you can train.
You can train,
so if you don't groom their heart, you don't punish them, you don't He said even the Bible allowed it, that you should use cane on the child. That is, he said the disobedience is the art of the child. The rod of correction can really take it away from them. So if you don't allow a child to be corrected, and you are pampering your child, that same child will grow up to become indisciplined parent. We will also pass across that indiscipline to their own children. So I believe if this thing is not stopped, it's going to weaken the
fiber,
the society, the moral
fabrics
of the society. It will not allow the society to become what it's supposed to be, because when you are not giving into the society will keep on collapsing.
It's true.
So to me, I think parents at this stage should allow their children to actually be punished. Then I had a father, very quiet father, very loving father, but we fear him. Why do we fear him? If this guy deal with you, he will beat you. You will ask what is your name? You will not remember your name. And wasn't the whole thing, he was a medical doctor, though late now, he was a medical doctor, he will beat you, you will be injured, he will take you to his clinic and treat you. So next time when you want to misbehave, you first of all think about it. If this man catch me. So outside, if you should tell my dad, Daddy, so person beat me outside, you say, come, what did you do? That means you have disgraced me. He will beat you too. So because of that, you discover every one of us will try as much as possible to be on our toes. Don't misbehave. And that time in our own generation, when you meet your child or you are outside, you don't need to talk as a mother. Just little blinking. The child will know what you are talking about. But now, when you blink to your child, say, Mommy, why are you blinking now? Daddy, why are you bending your mouth?
Because they can't read it.
Yes, because the punishment. And if you do that outside, when you get home, oh my God, they will deal with you. So I was trying to correct you. You are trying to, in fact, the punishment will not be more. But now, a child will go out. You see a child slapping the mother. And the mother says, it's a child. When I was training my children, as I'm breastfeeding the child, unknowingly, will even bite the breast. My dear, I will not say because the child is a baby, I will slap them out. The child will look at you. Next time he won't want to bite you, he will look at your face and he will not do that. But now they say, it's a baby now, it's a baby. So because of that, you discover the society is decaying. The moral decadence is really going down. So I pray, if the government can do something, and it starts from home. From home, then you extend it to school. Then from school, you extend it to different organizations. Like now, presently, even in the, what do they call it, in different offices, you see junior staff. That time when we got employed into the government, when somebody is senior to you with a level, is mad.
Respect.
Yes, so. But now, the thing has crept into the establishment. Different institutions, but it's a thing that can still be corrected if only there can be a particular punishment for any action, because to any action, there's a consequence. So any action that is being taken and it's not right, let there be a consequence and let them know that, yes, it's going to take place. You discover everybody will sit up. Right. That's what is happening in Japan. That is happening in Japan, and all of them, even children, they cook. They teach them how to cook, not their parents, but in school. They teach them how to cook, they teach them how to wash, they teach them many things. But here, the only thing is that we tell our children, bring project work. They steal their mother's money to go and give the teachers. What project are they doing? Bring broom, bring cane, bring chalk and whatever. So we are not inculcating that right morals into our children. And it's a big problem.
Well, we hope that we're able to provide solutions to this problem, even in the course of the show. Now, Williams, there seems to be a proliferation of NGOs and human rights activists who see the things she just mentioned as child abuse, especially in the West. And sadly, it's gradually infiltrating into our own culture. You discipline your child, and then someone takes it up against you and says you're abusing your child. Now, where do you draw the line between disciplining your child and being extreme or abusing them?
Yeah, first of all, it's good to discipline a child. You can't
Okay.
you can't spare the rod and spoil the child.
The child.
Yes, I will tell you that I'm coming from a home where I was well disciplined. Even when the only crime I commit is to stay outside long while playing, they will discipline me for that. You understand? I know the lengths of which the discipline will get to.
Okay.
But now, NGOs now saying the parents should not discipline their children beyond a specific limit. Fine, is okay. But you must understand that the child will not die. But the only thing I will go against is inflicting injuries.
Inflicting bodily harm.
Bodily harm on them. I think that is only what I can allow or say, okay, NGOs can be doing. But to say I should deal with my child, you say I should not deal with the child, just to talk to the child, no, that's not acceptable. You understand? You know, these days we have parents who are having a very fainting heart, like faint-hearted. Yeah. You go too much emotional. I say, oh, touch the child. No, don't beat the child. My baby, my this, my that.
All right.
You over-pamper children. No, they will right in your two eyes.
So you're saying that you're only against, you know, the extremes.
The extremes.
Of disciplining.
Yes. Right. Let me tell you, when my father is coming.
It's okay. Don't worry. Just hold that thought. We shall be going on a break right now. And when we return, we shall be continuing on that particular line of thought. Please stay tuned. All right, it's still Flipside on independent television. We're looking at the challenges of modern-day parenting. Now, Williams, you were saying something about the right way to discipline a child earlier before we went on that break. So
yes, so I was just on the thought, like, you know, you should not pity the child when the child is wrong. You know, then when my father is coming for farm, because he's a farmer, he would go and plug this water cane. You know how he used to call it water cane? Yeah. That's very serious. So when you are packing the loads inside, you see the cane. So you know that definitely it's not for animals.
It's not for fun.
It's not for fun, it's for you. So when you see the cane, you first of all, your heart will, you know, want to leave you. So you definitely know where if there's any little wrong, you are going to be dealt with. And he definitely keep to his word when he call you. There's a tune, the way he will call me, I know I'm in trouble. There's a way he also call me, I know this one is for peace. So when you hear that, you know that, okay, the cane is already on the table, just for you to come and collect how many strokes is going to be. Then he use your bum bum, your hand, and then when you want to run away, he pins your leg on the ground, and then just for that's your bum bum. So you will learn some lessons. But these days, our modern parents, you know, as the generation goes by, they become more sharp and very prone to learning. So you need to be very careful. You need to follow them consciously and intentionally. Because if you don't do that, they will just lose out of your hand, and then you will also create a problem for the society. Now, since you don't want to take care of your home, you should not endanger the society. That is two things we are talking about here. If you want your peace to be disturbed, let it be on your let it be on your environment, but let it not affect the society. Definitely also affect the society, because your child will not be inside confined. No, he will go to school. Yeah. They will get to the workplace, just the way Madam here is trying to explain. In the government establishment, they are there also. Yeah. So there are places that will also migrate. So once that child have that bad character, justified, because most of them they are justifying it these days. Yeah. You say, yeah, I'm coming from home, my father is okay with it, my mother is okay with it. How are you going to do? Why will you tell me this?
You are not my parents.
You are not my parents. You can't tell me what to do.
Right.
You know, I'm big enough. You know why? Because they've already get them that consciousness that. Where I'm coming from, this character is well accepted. So who are you to not start challenging the character? And when you want to make effort to correcting them, or want to they will say, I will report you. And when they report you, situations arise, and then you are not faced with the parent. Just the way a teacher wants to discipline a child, and then the next day the parent is in the school, start troubling the teacher. Why will you touch my child? What will give you the authority and the right to do that? That's why you see these days teachers no longer care of taking.
Nobody cares about
their hands off. So we need to bring back that consciousness, bring back that old culture of disciplining the child with the rod. The child will not die, just as I've established earlier. Bodily harm, that is what I'm against.
Off limits, okay.
Yes, afflicting injuries on the baby, that is what I'm totally against. But if you can flog the child, not to get the child infected with injury, then you can do that.
Okay.
As far as you don't do it in sensitive places, just as I've established earlier. You can stay away from, don't touch the eyes, you know, sensitive places of the child, but you can flog them. Okay. You understand? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, Ashoria, there is such a thing as permissive parenting, where you allow your kids to do whatever they like, just like Ms. Bimbo said earlier. Now, some modern parents see these as, you know, a way of raising your child with love. they'll tell you that, okay, if you want to, I mean, taking care of your child, allowing your child get away with certain things is raising them with love. I've heard some person say that if you want to teach your child love, allow them to get away with certain things. That way they will know you love them. Do you subscribe to that?
If that child grows up and get to understand that when you had the opportunity of instilling discipline and you refused, that child will never forgive you. You know,
Especially if the child goes out there to do these things.
The child will mess up. You know, there is this, I don't know if it's a farce of a criminal that was on firing squad, and he made the last plea, and the last plea was, please invite my mother. And the mom came, and he told him, he beckoned on the mother to come. And the woman came and asked her to bring her ears. And he beat off the woman's ear. You know, that is, you had every opportunity of correcting me, but you refused. Look at where I am today. You know, one thing about training is that training helps you to be a better person. You know, that word, train up a child in the way that he should go, it's very deep. And it is very intentional. You know, before you can be an army officer or an officer of the law, you must go through rigorous training.
Yeah.
The little one I had when I was 7 made me to be fit. That even when I came back from NYSC, I was still fit. I was jogging. I was always going out for workouts. So what I'm trying to say here is that training up a child is not for the child. It's for you as the parent. It is a conscious act. Because the truth is that your child is a reflection of you. That is why when the child misbehaves in public, the first question people ask is that, where is the mother? Where is the father? They will tell you, it's not you. They will tell you you are a disgrace to your family. And so this day is a reflection of the parents. Do you understand? Yeah. They'll tell you a goat cannot give birth to a lion. A goat will always give birth to a... So what I'm trying to say here is that there is no excuse. It's not love. It's weakness. Yes. The parent has just displayed weakness. And that is what society will use to judge you. You know, one thing that these parents don't know is that you are just a caretaker. And the job of a caretaker, as far as it concerns a structure, a building, is to take care of a building. One day that child will leave you. One day that child will become a parent. One day that child will become a leader. That child will become whom he or she wants to be. It is the trainings that you give to the child that the child will be able to use to manage himself. For example, I don't go out. I don't sleep outside.
Okay.
Yeah. Even as a married man, even as an adult, I don't sleep out. Based on the training that my parents gave to me. And it has saved me from a lot of trouble. So it's not love, like I said. It's not love at all. It's a sign of wickedness when a parent does not show discipline to the child. When you think, it's not love, okay. You are harming that child. And you are putting that child in harm's way. Because the things that you fail to teach the child as at that time, the bad guys out there will help you to do your job. And you know what that means? Sorrow will be inevitable. And that will cause shame. See, I am a pastor, I'm a clergyman. It's not everything I hinge on prayer. That is where we miss it in Africa. Everything, every failure is on God. Everything is on God. We have our own role to play. Like I said, we are agents of change. We are agents of socialization. Start that from your home. That is why God has given you the truth. Read your Bible, Psalm 127. Children are a heritage. What do you do to heritages? You maintain them, you groom them. Yeah. So when you allow them to slip through your fingers, trust me, the devil, I was showing somebody before I came to the devil, I was showing a person, Job chapter 1 verse 6. Sorry, I'm bringing Bible into all of this. Okay. Bible refers to Satan as a rallying lion. Satan is there. Bible says he is going by the side and is going from the top to the bottom. So it's like this. So Satan is there to harvest these children and make them to become vagabonds and useless entities to society. So please, parents, my dear parents, please, I want to beg. The fact that your child is misbehaving is a reflection of your failure. And discipline that child so that child will not disgrace you. The fact that you discipline that child does not mean you hate that child. It's a fact that you love the child. Don't forget that God said that whosoever I love, I chastise. God is not a daddy that pampers. That's why I don't like that song. Say the daddy way they pamper. God does not pamper people. He doesn't pamper. If God can turn his back on his son, if God can deal with David, he can also. So discipline is inevitable. Okay. It cuts across. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Mrs. Bimbo, there are some people that believe that you can only do your best as a parent, or you can't force a child to behave in a certain way, right? Like the adage says, you can only take a horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink. So you can only play your part as a parent. Some kids are considered to be beyond control. You know, they just have a mind of their own. Do you subscribe to that?
No.
Okay.
Like what I said, that no child comes to this life by mistake. It's only that the parents are not prepared for the coming of the child. Then again, because of a child misbehaving, let me start with us as women. I have 4 children. They're all grown up now. What I experienced is that all these children, their pregnancy, their growing up, they're not the same. So it's not possible for you to have the children behaving the same way. So as a mother, now I want to concentrate more on the mothers now. You discover that it's not, you cannot use the same method to train all your children.
Exactly.
We have some children, if you like, beat them from now to tomorrow, nothing will happen. Why we have some, just like when we are talking about the rod of correction, it may not be the physical rod.
Yes.
Okay.
It can be just a particular action you will take.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put it this way. I sent my daughter, do so thing for me. And she was like, mommy, as if she will not do it. I just said, okay, don't do it. Do you know, I came back, she did that thing perfectly. Why? Because that is the way she knew that I didn't tell her, hey, if you don't do it, I will even withdraw. No, just a word. That was the way I trained them up. Then, as a mother, you should know what your child what your child should be able to do so that your child will not go out of the way. We have some children, the more you are beating them, the more they are going out.
It's true.
Why we have some, just little counsel, call them. I know of a particular person, when he was very young, any small child that passed the front of the house, oh my God, he will beat the child mercilessly. The parents of that child will come to the house. They will be begging. They will not beat the boy. After beating the boy will go back again to go and meet that child. So it's because of you they beat me. We beat again. Until one day, the mother was counseled that next time this child should misbehave, don't beat him again, beg him. And I said, why will I beg my child? So another time, after beating that child, they now said, oh, why now? Don't you know he's your younger one? Oh yeah, please, tell him sorry. And he told that child sorry. Till that time, the guy is married now. He did not misbehave again. So you need to study every child, know your child.
And know what method
know
to
your
employ.
child and the method that is applicable to every child. Let me tell you, there's no nuisance in this life.
It's true.
There's no nuisance. Even if you look at it, we even have nuisance value.
Exactly.
There's no nuisance. If you can monitor the person, you can study the child. But now, this negligence about parents, negligence is what is disturbing a lot of homes. You see a child, you did not buy phone for that child, and the child is coming home with iPhone, and you know it's not from you. What do you do?
To make inquiries.
At times the child will ask the parents, please, I need money to buy so. They say, go and get money now. Where will the child get money? The child is not working. Indirectly, you are telling the child, go and do what your mates are doing.
Yeah.
So you discover every child will have a specific and unique way of handling. But most of us as parents, we have failed in our responsibility.
So you're saying that coercion is not the only way to, get a child to do the right thing?
No, there are a lot of ways you can get into the heart of a child. We have some children like me. Today, I'm where I am academically. Not because there's something big. Because to any choice, there's consequence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every choice you make in life, there's a consequence.
Yes.
The reason why I became very special in my school that I was coming out with, I told them in church one day, do you know the reason? It's because of bread and akara. Because my grandfather would tell me, if you come out first, I will give you bread and akara. So I was studying my book.
Motivation.
Yes, so there's a motivation. So I was studying my book, not because I want to come out best in my class, but because of bread and akara.
Interesting.
So you look at a child, what will this child like?
What's
yes.
our interests?
Yes, what will be the thing that will motivate a child? Do you know we have a lot of people? Today, I know of a pastor, Kunle Ajayi, that played a saxophone for Pastor Adeboye.
Yes.
He was a nuisance before. Do you know this guy was molded? Why? They took him to one of the uncles, and the uncle was playing with for this Nigerian police band. Okay. It was from there he was able to learn all those things. And at the end of the day, the boy that they thought will not amount to anything today is everywhere all over the world.
Wow.
So
why? Because they were able to locate that thing that will calm him down. Then they used it, and today is relevant to the generation. So as parents, especially mothers, please study your child very well. Don't compare your child with any other person. They will tell you, go and look at so-so child. The person is better than, even me as a mother, I don't compare my children because I know where this one is better, this one may not be better.
Exactly.
Okay.
But every one of them, they have their own relevance.
Yes.
So as parents, let's try as much as possible. There's no nuisance amongst your children. It's only you that is negligent.
Okay.
Let us try as much as possible to ensure we understand our children and we bring out the best out of them.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Bimbo. I think that was a very, very eye-opening one because, you know, a lot of people believe that there's only one way to raise children. Okay, now what you've just said now is something that's kind of similar to what some people advocate for, which is being friends with your child.
Yeah.
I've heard some, you know, human rights activists, NGOs and all of that, telling parents to try to develop friendship with their, you know, their children. Now, there are also people who believe that that could breed some sort of over-familiarity, which would make the child or children to start misbehaving. Williams, what do you think of that?
Familiarity. Yeah, it
That
tends to...
once you're too close to your child, the child becomes too familiar with you, and hence they begin to misbehave. Do you believe that?
Okay, I'll give you an example before I delve into it properly.
Okay.
I went for a program. I was invited, an open field program. The pastor's son, I've met the pastor's son before. He was a little boy, but that was the first day I'm going to see him. So as I got to the place, you know, I don't like somebody distracting me. So he was just moving around, constituting nuisance and all that. So a lot of people have been talking to him. You sit down one place, sit down. He refused to listen. So I was just waiting for him to get his attention. He immediately turned to looking at my face. I called him and I looked at him straight to his eye. Say, if you don't want me to beat you, go and sit down. In fact, I said, sit down close to me. You know, throughout the program, he didn't. He was just there. And then later at the end, we became friends. Now, compare the two. You must not make sure that you must balance everything.
It must be a balance.
If you can strike a balance, then the child will be okay. You know, when you deal with, I positioned him, though he was not happy. He wasn't happy because I cheated him from moving around. But after everything, I called him and then we started playing and all that. So when you discipline the child, you draw the child again with the other hand and tell him that this is why I discipline you. And if you continue, you may get disciplined also. So striking the balance is very important. Okay. Then you must not also shy away because definitely if you become too strict, I had that experience with my dad. I will tell you now, I'm in my 30s. It is now me and my dad are having that one-to-one rapport. Though I'll be wanting it because it was very strict. So there was no way we could talk. I was able to communicate with him with writing that I need school fees. I need so I'll go and drop it at the head of his bed. When he reads it, he will then get back to me. That was how
So you were communicating in writing instead of...
because of the strict nature. So you see, so it was good in one aspect and the other aspect was... So imagine, I had to start relying on way older friends, you know, teachers to be talking and then expressing myself. So for you to make sure that one side is not becoming a problem, balance everything. Talk to the child, call them. What is the situation on ground? How are you feeling? What is the society doing? What is your own friendship? Let me see your friends. You know, you make them feel comfortable, but they will also know that when I mess up, I'll also be disciplined.
There's a punishment for it.
So that's the best way to do it, so you don't lose on any side.
Now, Shoria,
Yeah.
striking a balance. How do you ensure that you don't breed over familiarity in your child? How do you ensure that your child does not see you, get too familiar with you to the point of misbehaving?
That question is very dicey,
Okay.
if you ask me, because I'm actually in between.
You know,
In between what? The truth is that over familiarity breeds contempt. There must be a balance, and the balance must be struck. You know, we have different kinds of relationship. We have the authoritarian, we have the permissive, and we have the laissez-faire.
Yeah.
You know, when you are the head of a home, or a father or a parent, after you have disciplined your child, you must also make the child understand.
Why?
Because see, it all boils down to understanding. You know?
Okay.
It's just like in our prayer life, for example. There are times where you have understanding of praying. You will know how to pray, when to pray, where to pray, whom to pray to, and the dimensions that are involved in praying. So in this matter, you must understand whom your child is. There's something Mommy said, and I think I borrow a leaf. Many parents don't know their children.
exactly.
I am a teacher, I know what I'm talking about.
Because they don't have a good relationship with
No
them.
relation. They don't even know who their children are. You know, sometimes when you report their children to them, they will be stunned. They will look at you like with so much surprise, like, this child does not behave like this at home. But when they come to school, of course, they have a free day to misbehave and all of that. So many parents don't know their children. So when you have an understanding of who your child is, try to understand your child's temperament. And I think Tim Lahari talks about temperament. Try to understand your child's ambition. Try to understand your child's courage. Try to understand your child's reservations,
Okay.
and all of that. The child's strengths and weaknesses, and the things that get him or her excited. You know, then if the child starts misbehaving, based on what you know, what you understand about that child, you will know how to serve the breakfast of discipline.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand the word
Yeah,
I use.
yeah.
Breakfast is food that you need to eat.
You know, when you say breakfast, there's a certain thing that comes to mind.
No, not in that context. No, not in that
So you have
context.
to be very.
We're talking about creating a balance.
Of course, of course.
Breakfast of discipline.
Discipline, okay.
If you look at it, both of them, they are positives. But one of them is tilting towards
the negative
the
side.
negative, not
side.
really negative.
Okay.
If you look
The
at
controversial
it,
side.
because if you look at it, it's still for your own good.
Okay.
But I have to use force.
Okay.
So the parent must understand whom their children are and know how to. There's something she said that I will borrow a leaf from. When you understand your child's temperament, all children can never be the same. My mother gave birth to 8 children. We all have 8 different characters.
Yes, sir.
Yes, 8 different, all of us. And I told my mom, I said, from all the children that you gave birth to, now one I be your own for inside. And she knows. You understand? So if the other one doesn't care about her, she understands that is his character, that is her character. So if you have one that is caring for her, she should know that one just have love for her. So it's like that. So you must understand your child and know how to serve the breakfast of discipline. Because if you miss it at that point of balancing, and that child goes astray.
Yeah.
See, like the Yorubas will say,
right.
Otilo.
All right, thank you so much. Now, Mrs. Bimbo, while we begin to wrap up, what measures do you think can be taken to improve on the quality of modern-day parenting? Briefly.
Okay. To me, I would suggest the first thing we should do is to solve this problem of this parenting issue.
Yeah.
Is one, it should start from our society itself. Because it should start from the church, the culture, and the society itself. To be very sincere with you, my brother, we have a lot of untrained parents in our society.
So you're saying that
So
the parents
if they-
are supposed to be providing training,
Yes.
need
If
training
they-
themselves.
Yes, so
Yes, sir.
if they are not
Untrained
properly
parents.
trained, there's no way they will be able to train their children, because you don't give what you don't have.
Of course.
Okay.
You cannot give it. So majority of the parents are not trained.
Okay.
So let the church, let the mosque, Let the idol worshippers,
cultural
let
people.
cultural everywhere. Let us
Okay.
start now.
Markets,
To start
market
even
women.
in the marketplace. Let us start training ourselves. Because if we are not properly trained, then we are bringing forth untrained children. What generation are we projecting?
Okay.
So it's going to be a disaster.
All right.
So I want to encourage that right from the church, even in the government offices,
Okay.
if, like I told somebody, the person misbehaved, and I told the person, when the person came back to apologize, say, madam, I'm sorry. I said, my dear, I forgave you long time ago. But one thing I want to tell you is that in my place, there's a proverb that when your mother gives birth to you, you too should also birth to yourself. You should give birth to yourself. That is, it's not only the training of your parents.
Yeah.
We have some things on your own. You should train yourself
Yourself, okay.
and start behaving well.
All right.
So I want to appeal that the parents should also be trained.
Okay.
The society should train the parents.
Okay.
You discover we have a better society.
All right, thank you so much. Now, Williams, in less than 30 seconds, what's your final thought on this?
The challenges we're facing, you need to know that for you not to face those challenges, you have to start on time.
Okay.
Smart kids are upcoming, so
All
you
right.
have to be very intentional and conscious about it. Learn to balance the two issues. When it's time to discipline, discipline. When it's time to advise,
All
you
right.
advise.
All right. Oh, sorry, I know you're already itching to say
Yeah,
something, but
yeah.
just in less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, I want to appeal to parents to please pray for their children.
Okay.
Pray for them. Commit. See, your needs will suffer. Commit your children into God's hands. Anyone that you feel it's going haywire, it's going towards the left, please pray for that child.
All right.
Fast for that child. And one thing, if your child is growing, get that child filled with the Holy Spirit. I think it will help you a lot.
All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of the show today. I want to say
Pastor.
a very big thank you to you.
true,
Well,
though?
I hope
Yeah,
that everyone out there has been paying attention.
Catch them.
The
young.
challenges of modern day parenting. Now, parenting is serious business, and it's not just the parents' responsibility. Just like we were told growing up, raising a child is the community's responsibility. So it doesn't just end with the parents. So please, before you bring a child to this world, ensure that you have what it takes to not just take care of that child, but also discipline that child to make that child a responsible adult. Anyways, it's been Flipside on independent television, reaching you live from Benin City. My name is Harry Aigboje, and until I come your way again, same time, same station next week, do the right thing, stay out of trouble, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.